Okay, now I'm streaming and recording all of this. Okay, we are going to make a new layout. Uh, Mine, I like it. I like it a lot, but I like to rotate and try new things. So, for this, uh, I'm going to make something new, but that looks semi-professional. About what kind of professional? Well, I always like layouts used for layouts used by some streams like the Games on Quick one. Indeed, the last Games on Quick was the event from where I got the idea of using pink and blue in my current theme. So, without further ado, let's begin. The first thing, of course, we are going to make a new scene in OBS. I'm going to show here. Okay, I'm going to make the how to make this. Okay, in OBS, one second, I'm going to disable this, that it's a distraction. You are going to create a new scene that is going to be empty and will have your new layout. Yeah. Okay, this is now completely blank. What you have to do is to import window capture or your screen or whatever you are going to use for streaming. And now you should see that I'm sharing basically my screen, and you're going to resize it. Why? Because everything else is going to be drawn around your screen size. You're gonna left some borders, fairly big borders, and in OBS you are going to right click. If you have a second screen, you can use that second screen. If you don't have it, you can use your main one. The thing is, you are going to use full screen projector. You are going to choose your screen and take a screenshot of that. Why? Once this is done, okay, I'm going to go back to my normal layout. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. You open your favorite art program. I use Clip Studio, but you can use Paint to Sci or GIMP or any program that actually supports layers. That's important. And you paste your screenshot. This screenshot is going to be your canvas. So you are going to make a new layer and make the previous one semi-transparent. Okay, before going ahead, we're gonna decide what kind of colors you want to use. In my case, I already have my layout decided. I'm going to use some tones between green and blue, but you gotta choose, because you could make a stream that has pink tones. It has pink tones, pink and red. It could look good for some games or for some kind of pictures or something you do. Or you could use a strong green. Remember, always use dark colors for the background. never use light colors because they are going to strain your viewer's eyes. So you can use green and blue, some shade of blue. So you gotta experiment until you find a layout that you like. I've seen lots of people using purple, that it's a great choice. Purple and different tones of fuchsia or pink. Once you have your tones, your colors chosen, we can proceed with the layout in itself. You have the screen area or your window area. You gotta select it, okay, a bit bigger than it is. By the way, I'm doing this with my tablet, but you can do this perfectly with your mouse, so you aren't forced to have professional stuff to do this. So you are going to choose your border color, not here, in a layer on top. You are going to shrink your selection, 4 pixels, that's right, and delete the center, and you're going to have this nifty border. This border is going to be your window border, basically the part where your screen is going to be. Okay, after this, I'm going to introduce something else that I had already planned, but maybe you didn't, and that is what kind of layout you want. Say, usually my stream layouts are something like this. You have the title or announcements, you have the stream title, and here you can have the rules. Okay, here I have my animated GIF. You know, this one, this GIF. It's an example. Right now, instead of that, I'm using this space for the camera. You could use it to show a animated GIF, a camera, movies, or that's up to you. At the bottom, I have the playing song, and of course, this is the screen area. You need to dedicate some time to plan out your layout. You can move things around, but the thing is, try to get the most of the space. You are going to be limited to 1920 by 1080, or if your stream is not in full HD, it's going to be 2080 by 720. So the space you have is not that big. Once you have your layout fairly planned, my layout is going to be a bit like this, not too different from what I already have. Different colors mainly, but okay. We have the screen area. Now, the screen area is going to be partly covered by something else, but we are going to check that later. What I'm going to do now is to copy this. Sorry. I'm going to copy this and create a new picture just with that square and transparent. You are going to save it. I always recommend making a new folder to store all this information. Yeah, blue layout. And you give it some name. And you export it. Why is this? Because of course any program including OBS needs a picture to work with this. Not 28%, is 100. Screen and 100%. Damn it. Sorry. Okay, now it's right. Now you have that. Now back to this. We continue use the same border color. We are going to hide the screen, and we are going to make a new layer for the next component, the top bar. The top bar that I use for announcements, you can make it as big as you want, but I recommend not to make it so huge. Okay, so you pick here and you fill it with your border color. You can grab this. Okay. You can grab this and paint with some other color. Say we are going to use fairly turquoise colors. So linear, okay. You can experiment, do as you prefer with your art program, but usually what I have learned, hello everybody, what I learned is simple gradients can go a long way. We have a dark color for the top bar. Okay, so we are going to copy it and save it. Top bar and export it. It's already 100%. Okay. Now, a question is why exporting it? Why saving it first and then exporting it? And it's because if you need to make any modifications, it's going to be a lot easier later. Now, the same for the top bar. I could want to use it for the bottom one. Now you can get creative. You can use another color, or if you look at my current layout, I use an angle to separate the now playing area from where the song actually appears. So you are free to do as you please. See, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to be bigger, not that bigger. We are going to do exactly the same. We are going to pick this color because it's the color I'm using for the border. I'm going to, for example, to cut this, mostly because right now I'm making a layout that has kind of the same that my current one already have, but like I said previously, you are free to experiment and do whatever you think is better. You are limited only by your art program, whatever you use. You could use, by example, paint.net or GIMP. This works. We are selecting this, selecting shrink selection. Okay. Yes. I'm going to make this border sharper. So far you have seen that I'm only making the parts of the layout, and that is precisely the goal, the objective. Yes. No. It works. For you, in case you are interested to know, the more the care you put in little details like borders and figures and all that, the more professional your layout is going to look. So it's actually worth to invest some time in it. Of course, I'm doing this in a way because I have done it before. I have kind of the experience. I could use actually an ellipse. Okay, we have something basic. It works for what I'm trying to show. So now we select this area. We wanted to use the tones used at the top. Foreground to background. We are going to make the selection 1 pixel bigger. 1 or 2, it's fine. Great. Why did I make the selection 1 or 2 pixels bigger? Because that way you want to get white borders there. These white borders can look awful. Here we are going, since here it's going to say now playing. I'm going to use other tones, other colors. Section, expand selection area 2 pixels. Okay, no, the exact same tone of blue doesn't look good, so we can experiment and change around things a bit. For example, here. It looks good, but in the other way. It looks good. Okay, I think it looks good, but we are free to look around. Like I said, nobody is hurrying you. How do you pronounce that? Okay, I like this more. So now we make the other stuff. Well, the other stuff is invisible already, except for the top line. Oh, there. I use the top border layer for the same. Okay, like I was saying, once we have this, we can copy it and paste it as something new. We take away the white and leave it like a transparency. Bottom bar. Now, if you look at this, you can have an idea of how this is starting slowly to shape. Okay, now usually for the title bar or my stream name, I have another picture. I'm going to repeat this as many times as I can. You are fucking free to experiment. I only know that my title bar must to be a little bigger than the announcement screen. You can see it in my current layout. So I use another layer. Okay. Yeah, that's the blue. Let's hide everything else because we don't need it. We don't need it. Let's see. Does it work? Yes, it works. It works. And actually, I could use this tone here. I commit a little mistake because I didn't save with the layers, but it's fine. Here we are. Bah. Export it. Sometimes when you are building something, you decide you can decide to choose something else or something that you think it looks better, like I did now with the dark blue color that I'm replacing the bottom bar with. Anyways, now we have another thing to take care of, and that is the area where we are going to put the rules and the camera. Say, for the camera, usually, unless you are cutting it up, cameras usually have a standard size, either full HD or a 1218 by 720. This is the size of my capture. So we have this, and we are going to make a board, a square. We are going to make a square border for this. Again. Inverse selected area, and we color this. I'm going to get sure is the border color. Yes. We save as cam border, and we export it as that. So now we are going to have the camera border, and usually I don't put a specific background in the rules area, but that's just me. You can put a wallpaper or a picture you like, or simply make up something. I'm going to make up something, even if it's not what I usually do, just for showing. Let's say that I want a fairly nice background color. New layer. Let's hide everything else. A fairly nice blue color. I'm going to put some texture on it. Again, this is not a requirement. You are free to do as you please with the background. Okay, this looks like a kind of a flag. For some reason, this looks like a flag. Okay, let's put it at the bottom. Turn everything else visible. Not this. It doesn't look too bad, but oh, okay. These looks are actually nice. Once you have that, okay, I'm going to copy like I did with everything else, and save it. And saving as a rules border, and export it. Okay, now that you have the parts, it comes the fun side of everything, and it's building it. Right now you are not going to be able to see my screen, but you are going to see how I build this. Okay, so we have with the new empty layout. We have the screen size. We insert a picture. In picture, we are going to choose the screen border. Okay, you see now the blue that appeared. You can adjust it to fit your screen size. Oh, damn it, my screen looks slightly smaller. It's okay, you can enlarge it. Now you can see that this looks actually a lot nicer. I'm going to cut a bit of there. Okay, you can see the screen there. We are going to insert another picture. Okay, another image. Top layer. I name it top layer and open the top bar file. How is it looking? It looks actually fairly nice, and you can adjust the other things in case you require it. We are going to insert another picture. You can see where this is going. Let's move this bottom and the screen. Let's adjust it. It looks okay. I'm going to make the screen border a bit bigger because my original idea involved the screen, actually the borders of the screen being covered. Like I said, experiment until you are happy with the results. Okay, the screen, you can make it a bit bigger. Great, now it looks perfect. Now you can see that this is basically the skeleton of the layout. Hello. You insert another picture, this time at the bottom. Okay, background. Let's insert the border and let's move it precisely to the bottom of everything. It looks nice, I like it. So we can copy it, okay, and paste a reference and put it to the other side, to the bottom too. So now we have a layout, very complete actually. Yes. Now, once this is done, we are going to insert. Okay, I was missing one more. The title. I just noticed that I didn't save it, so we are going to pick it, copy, and create new, save as title bar, and export it. So we can put it here. Okay, I forgot to take away the white, so we export it again. I took the screen border by mistake. Great. Now that the base of the layout is done, we can start putting the text. We go to insert. Okay, give me a second. We are going to insert text. We are going to announcement, we choose the font. This process is mostly similar for everything. I recommend for all the texts here to use fonts that actually are intended for being seen on screen. What do I mean with this? There are some fonts like Times New Roman that are made more for printing than for screen. Streams usually are scaled down, so if you use a font like this, some people may have trouble seeing the content. The same happens with very thin fonts, because Picarto and Twitch and so tend to compress the image. For example, this font is not good. I'm going to use this font. Gamers will recognize it, will know immediately where it comes from. Use custom text extents means that the text square is always going to be the size you define, and this is good because you can change your announcement and it's not going to mess with how it looks. Announcements usually are center, not to the left. alignment, center, center. Look at this. It's starting to come out very nice. So we insert another text, the rules. I'm using the rules in the other layout. This is from file. I always recommend to have the rules in a separate file so you can modify them easily without having to mess up directly here or with the layout. So we are going to use the same font, monofont, and text exempt. We are going to move it there. And I think this is great, except for the fact that the white snowflakes mess with the font color. And well, this is bad planning or simply not thinking about something, but in OBS you have a good what is the word, a good alternative solution. It is giving a border to the characters outline, select color, and there you can choose. In this case I choose a blue because the rest of the background is blue, and you can see it starts to look nice. It could be better because of course we are talking about legibility. So we can choose another tone of blue. No. But I'm choosing background color instead of, sorry. Outline color, this is what I'm looking for. Ew, no. There you have, hi. If you look, the purple makes rules looking good, but it clashes with the rest of the layout. So, well, you are going to have to experiment a lot. Okay, but let's assume that this is done. I'm going to darken the border. Okay, let's assume that this is how the rules are out to be. Now I'm going to insert the camera, so you are going to be able to see me again. Okay. I'm going to shrink it and put it there. So this means I gotta shrink the font of the rules. From 36 I'm going to use 32. 32 as a okay, this looks good. We do the same that I did earlier. and we insert a picture. What picture? The camera border. We shrink it to fit our camera size. Great. If I take this out, you can look that this is actually looking very nice. So now we need 3 more texts and a couple of pictures. The first text is going to be the now playing. Okay, so now playing. What font? We are going to stick to one font. I recommend stick to one or at most 2 fonts. More can be actually distracting, very distracting, and that will play against you. Now playing. We don't need this symbol. It looks great. I like it. We insert another text. The song that I am actually playing. Okay, I'm going to explain something because I have gotten this question before. Victor, how do you make the song that you are playing to be shown in the stream? Actually, you need an external program. I use a program called SMG, but there are more. I haven't tested them myself, so I can't vouch for them. But you have different options to do this, and yes, custom extents. But you can't do it alone. You need an external tool to actually show the song you are playing. Left and center. Perfect. The other text is the stream title. Text stream title. You can adjust it. I'm going to shrink it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to insert a picture. Okay. This picture, I'm going to retrieve it from a list of pictures that I already have. And this is a picture I commissioned from Corey, and I fucking love it. So I'm looking in my folder. Give me a second. Oh, here it is. Oh, sorry, it's a bit too big. A bit too big. There we are. There we have. And it's done. There you have. It's a fairly simple layout. It took some time to make, but as you can see, it's not as difficult as it could look. You need some color theory, and basically that's it. You need to handle, you need to remember that very light colors are annoying for the eyes. So darker colors are preferred. In this case, this theme has a middle ground because the blue is very light. I could actually try to modify it to improve it even more. So we have this. Let's see. Correction layer. Use illumination. Let's make it darker. A bit more. No, the hue is okay. Now we are going to export this. The same name. Yes, yes. And now you see the result. How do the rules look now? So basically, this is what you gotta do to make a very nice stream layout. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can either ask me directly or on Twitter or anywhere else, or on the Discord channel. So that's it. I'm going to finish the recording. Thank you and see you next time. One thing missing. One thing missing. I feel ashamed for forgetting it. Damn it. Yes. And now there we have. I hope you like this small tutorial. So I'm going to finish the recording right now and see you next time.